The darkened highway. I was driving home from a late-night shift at work, the GPS leading me down a deserted highway that sliced through the heart of the forest. The trees towered above, casting long, ominous shadows on the road. My phone had no signal, and the only sound was the hum of the engine and the creaking of old wood. Suddenly, the headlights flickered and died, plunging me into darkness. I coasted to the side, my heart racing. As I stepped out to investigate, an unsettling feeling crept over me. The air was thick with an eerie silence. I popped the hood, fiddled with the wires, but couldn't get the engine to turn over. Stranded, I lit a match to see my watch, 12 a.m. The flame danced, casting macabre silhouettes on the trees. That's when I saw them, shadowy figures standing just beyond the flickering light, watching, waiting. The match burned out, and I was left in darkness. I heard whispers, a low, raspy chant. "You shouldn't be here." I sprinted down the highway, but every step felt like a mile. The chant grew louder, more urgent. I stumbled upon an old, abandoned car, its windshield shattered. In the back seat, a note scribbled in red ink. "They come at midnight. Don't stop. Keep driving." Suddenly, the darkness closed in. The figures emerged, their faces twisted in a macabre grin. I ran, but my legs felt heavy, as if rooted to the spot. The clock struck midnight. The whispers turned to screams. I was consumed by an eternal darkness, forever trapped on that forsaken highway. When the sun rose the next morning, my car was found abandoned, the engine still running, headlights blazing. But I was never seen again. The locals whispered of a highway cursed, where the damned souls roam, searching for their next victim. And if you drive down that road at midnight, you'll hear the whispers too. The last broadcast radio DJ Alex Mercer hosted the popular Midnight Sessions on WKNT, a small station in rural America. Every night, from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m., Alex played the darkest, most obscure music, sharing stories and urban legends that sent shivers down listeners' spines. One fateful night, Alex received a mysterious vinyl record in the mail with no return address or note. The label read, "Play Me at Midnight." Intrigued, Alex decided to play it on his show. As the clock struck 12, the needle dropped, and an eerie, dissonant melody filled the airwaves. Listeners called in, reporting strange occurrences, flickering lights, unexplained noises, and an overwhelming sense of dread. The music seemed to warp and distort, taking on a life of its own. Alex's voice grew hoarse, as if possessed. He began to speak in a low, raspy tone, sharing twisted tales of death and decay. Callers reported hearing screams and whispers in the background, but Alex seemed oblivious. The music grew louder, more cacophonous, until it abruptly stopped. The studio fell silent. When Alex spoke again, his voice was barely audible. "They're coming," he whispered. "The ones from the other side." Suddenly, the studio equipment malfunctioned, and Alex's voice was replaced by an unearthly whisper. "We've been waiting. The midnight frequency is ours now." The broadcast continued, with Alex's voice warped beyond recognition. Listeners reported hearing footsteps, creaking doors, and an unholy presence closing in. The last transmission was a blood-curdling scream, followed by an eternal silence. WKNT went dark, and Alex was never seen again. The next morning, authorities found the studio in shambles, the vinyl record shattered on the floor. Some say that if you tune into WKNT at midnight, you'll still hear Alex's haunted voice, broadcasting from the depths of hell. The Dollmaker's Revenge. In a small, forgotten village, there lived a mysterious doll maker named Amelia. She crafted dolls with uncanny precision, their faces serene and lifelike. People whispered about her extraordinary talent, but few dared approach her. One stormy night, a traveler sought refuge in Amelia's shop. As he browsed, a porcelain doll caught his eye. Its eyes seemed to follow him. Suddenly, the dolls around him began to whisper his name. The traveler's fear turned to terror as Amelia appeared, her eyes blazing with a malevolent glow. "You shouldn't have come here," she hissed. The dolls closed in, their faces twisted into grotesque grins. The traveler tried to flee, but Amelia's creations ensnared him. As the night wore on, the dolls seemed to come to life, their whispers turning to laughter. The next morning, villagers found the traveler's carriage, abandoned and shattered. Inside, a single doll sat, its face eerily similar to the traveler's. The doll's eyes seemed to watch, its smile twisted in a haunting grin. From that day on, people avoided Amelia's shop. But some say on stormy nights, the dolls still whisper, and the doll maker's malevolent laughter echoes through the village. The Shadow in the Mirror. After moving into her grandmother's old mansion, Emma discovered an antique mirror with intricate carvings. As she gazed into its depths, she noticed a shadowy figure standing just behind her reflection. At first, she dismissed it as a trick of the light. But the figure grew more defined, its presence more unsettling. Emma began to feel an icy chill whenever she approached the mirror. One night, she caught a glimpse of the shadow's face, twisted, with eyes that burned like embers. The shadow began to whisper her name, its voice a low, raspy hiss. Emma's reflection started to warp, her eyes turning black as coal. She'd find strange symbols etched into her skin, as if the mirror was exerting some dark influence. Desperate, Emma consulted local experts, but they were baffled by the mirror's power. One warned her, "The shadow is a doorway. Something ancient is trying to cross over." As the nights passed, Emma's grip on reality faltered. The shadow grew stronger, its presence spilling into the world beyond the glass. One fateful night, Emma's reflection shattered, releasing the shadow. The mirror lay broken, but Emma was gone. Some say on quiet nights, you can still hear her screams, trapped between worlds, forever bound to the mirror's dark power. The Shattered Reflection. Lena had just moved into a new apartment, inheriting an antique mirror from the previous owner. As she gazed into its depths, she felt an unsettling chill. The mirror seemed to ripple, like water disturbed by a stone. That night, Lena woke to find her reflection staring back at her, its eyes black as coal. The reflection mouthed words she couldn't hear. As she approached the mirror, it shattered, shards of glass scattering everywhere. Lena breathed a sigh of relief. But soon, strange occurrences plagued her. She'd catch glimpses of herself in other mirrors, her reflection's eyes always black. The image would mouth the same words, "I'm waiting." One fateful night, Lena confronted the antique mirror's remnants. As she swept up the shards, a fragment pierced her skin. Blood dripped onto the glass, and her reflection coalesced, its eyes blazing with an otherworldly intensity. The reflection spoke, its voice a whisper. "I've been trapped, waiting for you." As Lena watched in horror, her reflection stepped out of the mirror, its presence darkening the room. Lena's screams were drowned out by the sound of shattering glass as every mirror in the apartment exploded, releasing trapped reflections. The darkness consumed her, and she became just another reflection, forever trapped.